sensors on now mobile gear as well as lobster traps, and developing the real-time telemetry. We are trying to combine various bottom temperature data sets, not only the eMOLT project, but several others from around the region, into one data set servable online. What's new in the last year is the data being used by both now ocean and stock assessment models. A couple slides there, a couple slides on recent results and time series. And I want to remember to go over the data server. I like presenting here. We've presented every 3 years at this forum, just to keep people up to date on this project. And I like the fact that there's a lot of students involved here. We're trying to recruit them into keeping this project going in decades to come. My colleagues listed today, Burton at our lab at the Northeast Fisheries Science Center has been using some of the eMOLT data. Aaron from the Lobster Foundation has been a longtime colleague for 20 years now. And Cooper and Vranken, relatively new in the last few years, have been very helpful and probably take a big part in the project in the future. The first point is that we're on our 20-year anniversary here, and if we could possibly get the captains together this year, there'll be a lot more. The extent of the database runs from most of Nova Scotia down to Carolinas, kind of spotty. The red indicates the original eMOLT, environmental monitors on lobster traps. These are fixed locations with mini-log probes during the fishing season, hourly data still going on. In the last 4 or 5 years, we've added these blue sites. These are primarily trawlers, and most of them study fleet from the center's cooperative research program. The difference there is that they're reporting in real time. So when the trawl comes on deck, the data goes to us without the fishermen have to push any buttons. The green here is the Fishermen Scientists Research Society in Canada that has been at it as long as we have. We're trying to combine these data sets. And there are a few more projects that we're trying to combine with this. Sorry for those that colorblind, but there's the Maine DMR, for example, ventless trap project puts out temperature probes. We've added that data set, as well as the Mass DMF has a number of projects, a long-term bottom temperature time series. And we're most excited to, in this coming year, to add the CFRF, Commercial Fisheries Research Foundation data, which has a lot more, several years down in this area, as well as up in the Gulf here, we're missing some. So that's the plan is to build on this and fill out this shelf area. But why are we doing this? What's the purpose? This story has been told recently in a paper published this past year with Cooper leading on fishing gear as a data collection platform, where he went and he's connected with a lot of other projects around the world that are conducting this kind of operation. His point is that a lot of the global ocean data sets have real-time data coming from primarily Argos floats offshore, but there's relatively little real-time data on the shelf. In our area, we do have the Narragansett moorings reporting in real time, and now the eMOLT vessels. But in general, there's a lot of potential. This is down in the lower right is the fishing activities. So in this red area, these little boxes have 30 fishing events per month that could potentially be providing oceanographic data. That's in the frontiers of marine science. Why we care about the Canadians? Well, obviously they're upstream of us, and this, for example, is an event that happened this last year, where Canadians, oceanographers photographers noticed an anomalous warm pulse of water up here. Well, this water comes down our way, and if we can monitor this situation in the future in real time, we will have a heads up on what's coming our way. So real time is critical, and instead of once a year like we used to get the old eMOLT lobster trap data, and we've managed to increase the number of real-time hauls in the last 5 years. This is the thousands of hauls per year from reporting in real-time bottom temperature. So in this coming year, we hope to get over 5,000 hauls reporting, and keep the project going in the next few decades. So a few recent examples of time series, what kind of data we get from this project. So oftentimes we talk about this year was cold, this year was warm. Well, it turns out this time series allows us to pinpoint what time of year these events happen. This is an example in 2018 through the year where the daily average temperature at this particular site, 45 meters up Bar Harbor, was warmer than a standard deviation for a lot of the year. But in October, November, it became colder than a standard deviation. So another example is in the Cape Cod Bay, where Frank Christie seeing colder than the mean for most of the summer, and then a couple of months nearly a warm standard deviation warmer than the mean. So if your research cruise happens here, you'll see very different results than here a month later. One last time series plot to make a note that this eMOLT data is limited. It's only in the last few decades. If we use the research vessel from the center, that data set goes back 30, now 40 years. This is a 30-year mean at this particular site. So eMOLT data, which is only in the last 20 years, is a few degrees warmer. So we provide these figures to all the fishermen to show them how their recent temperature relates to historical records. CTD cruises of the shelf. So how is the data being used? Only in the last few years, we finally got some data to go into the stock assessment of lobsters, thanks to Burton, Kathleen Reardon up at DMR, showing that in the observations in black dots are now mimicked by this, what they call environmentally mediated survey catchability. So this is without the temperature information, solid black line, and this here is the new model with including the temperature information. So we're happy that this is not much. We're not claiming that there's a extensive use of the data in stock assessment, but this is what we're looking for.
9 minutes.
Hope this audience will consider doing the same. The ocean modelers are using this data. There's 3 or 4 I'll get to in the Northeast region modeling groups that are happy now to have this bottom temperature data to feed into both their hindcasts, historical runs, as well as their forecast. In this case, this is John Wilkin from Rutgers Doppio model. He sent me this figure where he is adjusting his model output based on the fishermen collected bottom temperatures. So he's actually assimilating in real time. And there's several other efforts. There is, in addition to the Doppio model, there's the Gulf of Maine, this is NOAA's Gulf of Maine Ocean Forecast System, looking at the eMOLT data, as well as SMAST EPICOM model. And we're not looking to compare models or say which model is better than the other, but we're happy to work with the modelers and look at these anomalies uncertainty in the model, but there's also a lot of uncertainty in the temperature records that we're adjusting. The final point is that there's many partners involved here. These are some of them that were on our recent proposals. It's not just one institution that's running this project. It's necessary to have partners all along the coast. There's several people involved here. For example, Aaron Whitman of GMRI is helpful. Aubrey's been helpful. CFRF, Owen, George. They have been at their particular docks, familiar with their fishermen, able to help in maintaining this project. There's now 50 vessels fitted with this telemetry hardware that we want to maintain in the future, and it requires help from various organizations along the coast to keep it going. And we're hoping, some hope that the IU's money is coming around to help us maintain this system, at least in the next 5 years. Get some potential funding from NERACOOS and Americoo's. And I think that's just a bit. I was hoping to have some questions rather than go through many more slides. Just to summarize, we're on to mobile gears now, as well as in addition to lobster traps, and trying to make it real time as possible on many vessels. Focus for me, anyways, is building this master bottom temperature data set and serve through according to ocean observing system standards, so that anyone can easily get at those records. One note, I've been, for the last 2 years, every Friday morning I put out an email to several dozen captains, as well as many others that might be interested on what we see in the data in terms of oceanographic events or model outputs and problems we have, fixes to make. Anyone interested, shoot me an email. James.Manning@NOAA.gov. The other notes I made was that the data is now being used in models, helpful for that, and there are multiple data servers available where you can go on and query the data according to lat, long, time, depth, or whatever. And there's some links at eMOLT.org to point you to some of the results. So I guess I have a minute. I'll try and get on here and go to today. What's happening today? I'm going to click on the map. Brings you up to what's happening in the last month of some of these records. This is from a couple of weeks ago, and off of Platts a couple of weeks ago. And so this is an online map where fishermen can go and see what's the temperature at different locations. And I think that's